Secure your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the basically misty, steamy, hot, and muggy South Mountain in Phoenix, Arizona. Generally, when we do this show, we are in the Four Corners area of Colorado, but I am down in Phoenix at the moment due to a family gathering, and it was really awesome. We got together. We spread my grandpa's ashes. I got to see a lot of family members I don't. So it's been very nice, yet at the same time, really hot. But the last few days have been very nice. Nutrioso was amazing. I was thinking it was in South Arizona, but actually more north, so I felt home. I just want to welcome everyone tonight. Thanks for being here. Everyone, we got Mr. Diecast Racing. We also have brave Sir Robin in the chat room. His new name throws me off. Mutant American, Ugly American. Okay, so I'm trying to add our guest on here. This is crazy. So I had her on Skype, but let me write down her number really quick, you guys. So much again for joining us this evening on Media's Late Night in the Rockies. I'm so glad you guys can join us. I'm your host, TessaTNT. And I hope you guys have had an awesome week, a rockin' start to your weekend, and that you're keeping cool. Okay, so let me scroll down here again. Oh my gosh. So we did originally start off with Miss Dr. Kimberly McGeorge on Skype, but then it was kind of breaking up on us, so we decided to call her on her phone. So I'm going to try to do that really quick. If you guys are listening live right now, you're listening on Spreaker.com. You can also find us on Twitter, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iTunes, iHeart, Castbox, Tumblr, YouTube, SoundCloud, Deezer, Podcast Addict, as well as Podcast Chaser. You can also find us live right now on KPNL Radio, which you can find at kpnl-db. Our guest this evening, is Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, and I'm going to dial her number really quick. I feel so unprofessional right now. Usually I have them on the line, ready to go, so I'm going to add her in right after I read her bio. I actually might just do it right now. I'm going to add her in. Okay, so Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, internationally renowned naturopathic doctor, energy healer, remote viewer, expert, and consciousness teacher. Her extensive client list includes the world's most talented healers, and for the past 25 years, she has worked on thousands of people around the world. Dr. Kimberly was born with the ability to remote view and was highly intuitive. While still in college, she helped police on many occasions, finding she had a natural affinity as an herbalist, and went on to create and distribute her own line of herbal organic products internationally. During this time, her personal practice expanded to multiple clinics throughout Columbus, driven by her inner knowing that her healing work would be made quicker, more affordable, and amplified exponentially using technology. Dr. Kimberly consulted with an esteemed neurosurgeon and realized in naturopathy could be applied to all areas of her clients' lives. Frequency Master teaches how to master frequencies in her own life and trains other healers to use their own unique and successful methods. By Dr. Kimberly McGeorge. Welcome, Kimberly. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Oh, for having me. I'm so excited.
Me too. I got a little freaked out there for a second. I was trying to get you back up on Skype, and we were just talking about that on break. Like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But Skype seems to think they have to continually do something.
Yeah, right. You're right. Oh, I'm sorry.
At all. I'm like, let me hang up and I'll call you right back, and then it just would not work. It was so welcome. I'm super excited to have you on and to hear of your paranormal experiences and how you got to this point in your life. I'm sure you have a really amazing story going on.
Yes, as you know, it's a long and winding road. Of course, it all started when I was born, because I was born with natural abilities to kind of through the densities, the dimensions, and remote view, as I call them now. I used to call them ghosts. I don't know why. I'm human discarnates, and all sorts of energies and entities, and kind of a long winding road coming through the religious door. His family, everything's a demon or angel, and then coming to know there's many different kinds of, paranormal entities and energies, and now I don't even think there are demons. So it's just been a really twisty, windy road, really, for me.
Yes, how you're raised, what you believe at a certain point, and then what you come to learn throughout your adulthood just by seeking out, different answers to questions and so on. And I think everybody's got their own ideal on it. But did you start out, in life, was your family religious? Did you have to deal with a lot of that?
Absolutely. So I was raised Methodist, and then they converted to evangelical Christianity. And my dad became a pastor, which was very interesting. So he tried to, it's kind of embarrassing, but I've been exercised a lot for my abilities, but they never went away. Funny how that happens. So, always retained really strong abilities, and really didn't even share after a while. I kind of stopped talking about them because, exorcism isn't really fun. It's kind of awkward. It's awkward when your dad's trying to cast demons out of you. So I don't know why I'm laughing. It's just funny now. It wasn't funny then, though.
Yeah, when you look back on it, it's just like, what the heck? I don't know.
It's like ludicrous. Ludicrous funny. It's like, what the heck? Because now, the paranormal is so popular, as you know. But really, I even came out to I call it coming out to my parents. I finally told my mom, I think about 8 years ago, that not only I could still see spirits, but horror of horrors, her grandchildren also had psychic abilities. So they know, but they pretend not. That's how we're leaving it right now with them. They pretend that I don't do what I do. They think I'm a practicing Satanist, and it's all good. We just all pretend everything is just perfectly normal.
Yeah, I found it funny. For me, the paranormal was normal. I knew it existed, and I was super excited about my experiences. And then I went to the city, which was basically in Fayetteville, Arkansas. I think we lived in Siloam Springs, Arkansas. We moved to Fayetteville, Arkansas, and I automatically started sharing these paranormal experiences with these kids that I thought were my friends, and they're like, dang, stay away from her, she's a weirdo. But having that come from your family, I mean, that had to be really traumatic for you, especially as a kid.
It was. I really felt disassociated, really association from them. I mean, it was kind of like me and then them. I was literally the black sheep, the evil one, the tainted one, the scarlet letter. I felt like all those weird energies. It wasn't really until I went to college that I started feeling and experiencing the flip side of the paranormal, as which is you can kind of be thought of as amazing and interesting and reliable, and intriguing. So it really changed for me, when I went away from, college and started sharing, in authentic ways who I was. And then I attracted the attention through the grapevine, because I went to college outside of Chicago. And right around that time in the 80s, they were starting to experiment with, occult units, crime in some of the bigger police departments where there was a lot of occult crime. And so I was on a few cases. Not that it was that amazing when you're 20 to work on really, really dark, icky, dead animals, dead babies, occult sacrifice stuff, So it was pretty gritty and pretty traumatizing. But I'm really glad I had that experience, because it really, I know this sounds stupid probably maybe now to people that know me, but I kind of doubted my own abilities just growing up at a home where they weren't affirmed. I always was looking for reassurance. So when you help the police, there's really no more, higher standard of oh, you are psychic. You really are.
Yeah, and you, like you said, you wish that you could have honed in better on it, and you kind of doubt your times when that happens, is this really happening, or am I just picking up on this for other reasons? But were you actually able to help in these cases and get answers for the police department?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I could take them right to sites where groups were meeting in abandoned houses. And, hate to talk about this because it's heartbreaking to me, but killing animals and even some, human. It was just awful, human baby thing into it, but it was like really awful. But I was, they would just tell me what they were looking for and give me the information they had. And then now I know how I work. I feel like, well, we all work. Everything's frequency, everything's energy. So now I kind of understand my abilities more. I was just able to match frequencies. I could just scan the area and even drive through an area and say, stop, that kind of thing. I know you guys, you're intuitive, of course. And so you kind of know what I mean. So I kind of learned to hone the skills, and they were able to, I don't know if they were able to like solve the crimes all the way through, but asked me to do, I was able to make sense.
You broke up a little bit. You said you were able to what? I'm sorry.
You're fine. I was able to, if they asked me to locate something, I was able to locate it. I don't know if I ultimately solved the complete crime, but whatever my part of it, my portion, I was successful at that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that totally, reaffirms for you, like, your gift. And I'm sure they did. It's just weird because different police departments will reach out to different psychics or people that are gifted, and then they'll solve the case. And in the end, they totally disregard that psychic or medium or whoever helped them because people look at it as insane to use something like that on a case. But I mean, there's been many cases that have been solved, or even missing kids that have been found. Had there not been a psychic there, that little kid might not have ever been found. I mean, it just gives me goosebumps thinking about it. But yeah, I think it's cool, like the day and age we're in right now, all these paranormal shows and stuff that are out there. There seems to be more eyes being opened and more of an awakening in people. And I know a lot of these shows are very dramatic and not really realistic as far as ghost hunting and everything else like that goes. But I just enjoy the fact that people are actually having their eyes open to, people's different gifts and different things you can do with it.
Absolutely. One of my popular questions, how can I activate my psychic abilities? How can I open my third eye? Which I think is an interesting conversation, because one of the things I've discovered in myself is, because we have the technology to scan the chakras, is a lot of times my crown chakra will be completely closed. My third eye will be completely closed, but I can give an equally as I can when they're open or partially open. So I think there's a lot of evidence about abilities and how we use our abilities and how they come in and how they're activated and who has them. It's real messy still. I don't think people, I've discovered, somebody told you, I don't think we have to focus so much on decalcifying the pineal gland or opening the third eye. I think it's more of a holistic, as your frequency rises, you can easily, I think, see through the densities and the dimensions. And as I sharpen and use my abilities, and as I purify my body, and as I become more conscious, and I expand, and we can reflect it in a lot of aura readings. I don't want to see. Everybody, and you probably know this too, everybody's like, I want to see. And then they're like, stop, I don't want to see, I don't want to hear, I don't want to know. Like, we think a lot of people really say they want to activate their psychic abilities, but what they mean is they only want the good stuff. They want the lottery number, Sally, but they don't want the dark hooded figure in their bedroom, or they don't want the creepy crawly things that crawl around your house at night. They're really selective. It doesn't work like that.
No. You can pick and choose.
Yeah, sometimes I wish I could too. Absolutely. It's funny. I went out this morning. I was up early and I took the dogs out. And I heard the Sasquatch hollering, and I'm like, and all the dogs were barking. So I'm like, because even now I'm like, is that Sasquatch or is that something else? But like the dogs were going ballistic, and I'm like, no, it's Sasquatch. I know they're hollering. Plus, it sounds like giant monkey apes like laughing and hollering. What makes that noise? Not very many things.
That's interesting.
It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. They were like, yeah, hey, we're here, you're here, you're not usually here, so don't yell at me when it's daylight, usually. Sometimes they do, but usually they don't.
When you were younger, did you realize you had a gift immediately, or did experiences first?
I didn't know it was a gift. I thought it was how everyone was. Like, when I first started having experiences that I can clearly recall was at age 3. So how am I to know? Like, you're still differentiating yourself from other people at that age. So you just assume everybody sees, interacts, like you interact. Well, something terrifying, this is what I mean about happening in Chicago, like I said, and there were a lot of fire trucks and ambulances and police cars at night, of course. And we lived off Roosevelt Road, so they were constantly running up and down there. And it took me a while to figure this out. I guess I was a slow 3-year-old, but I was terrified of sirens. And I didn't get terrified of sirens, so I tried to block them out with my pillow and like crawl under my blankets. And my parents were like, "What is your problem? Like, why are you so scared of sirens?" And I never did tell them. But the reason is because I was taken to the scene of the crime is what I finally figured out. Because I would have these flash people, hanging by a noose, or battered women, or like decapitated people, or it was just horrible, the things I saw. So I bet, of course, I have no way to prove that, but if I could go back and match each vision with that siren, I'm almost positive it would match perfectly whatever was happening.
It's interesting, and I wonder if also, like, not only kind of remote viewing at this early age and you don't realize what's going on, have you ever felt like you had a past life?
I can't believe you. I don't think anyone's ever asked me that at that point. Wow, that kind of took me aback a little bit. Yeah, well, actually, when I woke up as a baby, like the first day I was born, I had this mind. So I had an adult mind in a baby body, because this is my first thought of conscious awareness. And I literally, I said, F, I'm like, fuck, like, why can't I move? Because I couldn't walk. And I expected to open my eyes and be obviously in an adult body, and I was in a baby body. Consciousness in a baby body, which was, I tell people, you think you've been tortured. You have not been tortured until you have an adult mind and you've walked before, and you're stuck in a baby body at least for 9 months. I walked as soon as I could.
That's so funny. It reminds me of my youngest daughter. My kids range from 6 years old to 21 years old. And
wow.
And my 6-year-old, brought her home after a week of being in the hospital, and I have her laying in her bassinet, and of course I'm constantly looking back and making sure she's okay. And at one point, I swear to God, she's like heaving her arms forward like she's trying to sit up. And so she's kind of rocking, and she's jolting her arms, upward and forward like she's trying to sit up, but she can't. And I'm just like, it's like she knows how to sit up and she's trying to get up, but there's no way on earth that she could know that. But then later on, when she was just a little over a year old, she's telling me about past life experiences and stuff, and I'm just like, holy shnikes. So I could just imagine like how frustrating that could be, trying to sit up. You said get up and walk or whatever, and you can't, stuck in a baby body. I could not imagine.
I didn't know what was going on, honestly. Yeah, I didn't know what was going on. I still don't even know if I knew what was going on. I'm like, well, obviously now I know. But then just like, I mean, it's really traumatic to, everybody, cool, you had partial memory. I'm like, but it wasn't, because literally partial memory, the only thing I knew was something was wrong. Like, I didn't have any memory. Like, your daughter sounds like she had detailed memory, maybe came in. I didn't. So I think that's even more frustrating. Like, if I could have had the memory, a little more sense, but all I knew was something was wrong, but I didn't know what.
Wow, that is so interesting. So you had to go through that, but at the same time, like, awakened some things within you.
Well, I guess it awakened the knowledge. I'm sure, like your daughter, and I don't even know about you or your experience, but it awakened the knowledge that there was more, that something was wrong. So I never had to go through like a gradual awakening. I feel like I was kind of born, at least awakened, that this world wasn't right. So whenever I got the globe at school, and my parents, of course, gave me a globe and all that, and I'm like, this is junk. Like, this isn't it. This isn't what the world is. And I remember they were talking about, how a city is built, and I remote viewed the city that we were, watching slides or a movie or whatever about. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's like tunnels under this city. And I'm like, let's go down there and look. And then I'm like, let's not go down there and look. So I knew things weren't, I knew we were being lied to. I knew there were like this whole underbelly of things that they weren't telling us. And most of the stuff they were telling us in school were lies. So I had a lot of difficulty in school because I could just go look and see what was true and what wasn't, if that makes sense.
Well, it really does because, they do feed us like the winners in history win, so they get to write history instead of how it really actually happened. So I don't know. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of our education is just a bunch of BS, a bunch of bullshit. And why are they teaching us that? Like they should teach us what the reality of all of this is, so we are not doomed to repeat the same process. It's important to know history so we aren't doomed to do that. But I don't know. I don't know what their realm of thinking is on that.
I
Frustrating
think
though.
I think the controllers exactly want us to keep recycling. I mean, for everyone, I'm like that. I'm never coming back here. I'm done. I don't care if they upgrade this realm, which is the rumor or whatever. I don't care if it's like 4D, 5D, whatever. I'm out. Like, yeah, I'm going someplace else. I'm not coming back here. I mean, it's really crazy. My mom, I was just talking to my mom, who's not super awakened, but she's right. It is crazy. Everywhere is so crazy right now.
It really is. Even here, where we think we're somewhat normal, it's just, I don't know, seems like it's flying apart. And I can't remember a time when we've been more segregated and separated, and a lot of it is to do with
Mm-hmm.
this whole COVID thing as well as
Mm-hmm.
politics and
Mm-hmm.
religion. Man, it just
Mm-hmm.
seems like everything is just tearing us apart. I think
I
Civil
was just
War is the
talking to a
last
friend of
time I
mine.
remember us being like that.
Yeah, I was just talking to mine in Australia, and she was saying that through her whole life, she's in her 40s, said, "You do, I'm never talking to you again." I just think that's insane.
Yeah, and that's been happening to a lot of people too. Like you thought you were really close with this person, and it's so easy for them to just like be angry about something that you don't agree on. It's like what happened to the day where we were able to discuss and talk things and not like ruin relationships or even families falling apart due to separations of thought process. And like, I don't know. It seems like people are so easily offended these days, and there is no talking about it. It's either right, there is no gray.
Right. And I tend to, and it's taken me a long time to get here and I still fall into it. But the whole right and wrong thing to me is just more duality, of course. So why do I have to be right and you have to be wrong, or vice versa? Like why, why does that even have to be? Why can't we just respect each other's skin color, religion, medical beliefs? It doesn't matter what. Like, I don't understand. Like, that's what makes the world go around. People are different expressions of consciousness. Why do we all want to be the same? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and we can actually like learn together. So having these conversations is actually a good thing, but it just seems like they turn into fights or arguments or like you said, people just disassociate from each other and they don't want to talk anymore. And it's really, I don't know, heartbreaking. I'm sorry that you lost your friend like that. That's really sad.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just the state of where we are, unfortunately, right now in the world. It really is.
People are being very, very close-minded. But have you noticed at all, like, as far as like missions and people being born with gifts and actually tuning in? Have you seen?
Absolutely. That's kind of I don't know, a weird view, I guess. Maybe not the normal or even paranormal normal view of life. Things I've noticed is so many babies are being born that are soulless, and then the powerful star seeds are coming in. So I think that if real souls are coming on the planet right now, they're like top tier, the most powerful, the most gifted. And well, you were talking about your children, which sound gifted to me, just, with the past lives and everything. Obviously, there's something going on there. But also my girls, a lot of them have very, very powerful gifts. One of my daughters is like another race, and she channels alien symbols, and she can like read souls, and she does like soul drawings. And one of my daughters is like the ghost whisperer. She sees 100% of the time. So I think these real souls that are coming on the planet are just like, so I always say there's so much more than me even, I feel.
Yeah, it's like a lot of them naturally know what's going on. They're able to tune into it. And like you said, our kids gifted too. And it's amazing. Like they're not just the same old gifts. They each have their own individual, unique gifts. It really blows you away. And it's perfectly normal to them, which is cool. Like I'm glad that you and I are able to talk to our kids about these things or support them and help them to, instead of them having to close the door or window to it because they're afraid of it. It's wrong. It's not right. And, mom said this or dad said that, so I can't be doing this anymore. Or, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of gifts are lost that way.
Oh, absolutely. I think I've even come so far as to think possibly the parents operating in kind of like a handler where they put these souls or direct these souls into these families, but they kind of failed, or maybe things are running better because, like I said, my girls fell into definitely the right hands, and they are very grateful. They talk a lot about how, one of my daughters came to me when she was 5 and said, Mommy, I need to go to the eye doctor. And I said, why, honey? And she's like, because I see weird colors and shapes and symbols around. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, you don't. That's a gift. And, and it was just so cool,
Yeah, sure. She thought wrong with her eyes. It's so interesting though. So I'm glad for our kids that we're there for them. But there are still, like we said before, closed-minded people out there. So I don't know. I'm just hoping, and it kind of seems like the way kids are these days, like they don't really listen anyways. They just do their own thing. So hopefully they continue on with that. But when you're talking about babies and kids born without souls, like that to me is one of the scariest things. It reminds me of some scary movies I used to watch as a kid. I think it was Damien or something like that. A kid who's completely evil. Yeah, or born without a soul. What are your thoughts on that? Like, people think this is impossible. If you're born on this earth, you have to have a soul. But I have met kids.
Well, that's religion.
Where I'm
religion teaches that. Yeah,
where I'm like, this kid definitely has no soul, no feeling. I don't know, you could say psychopathic or narcissistic or something like that. But you can kind of look in the eyes and tell they're back there. There's nothing behind the eyes. And the eyes are the windows to the soul. So, I don't know, what are your thoughts on that?
That's a really good point. And so I kind of bounced all over the place on this whole thing because this kind of leads to a deeper conversation. I used to think and of course I was brought up in a religious home, so you're kind of like programmed toward religion. So I used to be like, oh yeah, God created the earth, yada, yada. But a couple years ago, I discovered the SESHI cameras. I don't know if you've ever seen them, the NASA cams that they have in space. It's SECHHI. And so I started watching and talking to people that study the SESHI cams. And then I'm like, oh, this is really interesting. So, now I believe, and, even Stephen King, who's a real top occultist, he tells us under the dome. So I don't even believe in flat earth. This is what I believe by looking at the SESHI cams. We are on a pole, we are in a ship, and we are in a holodeck. And the matrix is projected illusion from two places. You can look on the sun simulator, because I don't believe it's the original sun, and you can see a ship. And when I say ship, my dad's like, what do you mean, a ship in the sky? I'm like, no, a spaceship. So I mean a spaceship. It has like wings of a spaceship, like you would see in Star Wars or Star Trek or whatever. You can see the wings sitting on top of the sun simulator. And I am told by people in I call it the not so secret space program, that is where the whole simulation computer matrix is run from. So a lot of the programming that we're under, a lot of the things we see that are, is run from there. A lot of I call them sims, like the game sims and clones. A lot of people call them non-character players or non-player characters, that they're just designed to kind of keep the real souls, kind of spinning what this is, so we don't join together collectively, because we're so powerful. And I actually believe that the real souls that are left, not just baby souls, but the real adult souls that are left, we're the gods and goddesses. We're in the books, we're in the movies, we're in the legends, we're what they make, the Marvel comic strips out of. It's us. And they want us to, be in all these dramas with relationships and bosses and neighbors and baseball games and, you know what I mean, bar mitzvahs, and church and weddings. And, they want us to keep doing the little 3D, routine that we do. And then we die. And then we get sent back because we didn't figure anything out. We didn't remember anything, and we didn't remember who we are. So they can keep harvesting us all the ways that they do. So the technology that I use has revealed so much. I call myself the lazy psychic now. Technology reads frequencies in homes, in land, in cars, in anywhere around the world because, there is no time and no space. It's all now, and in people. So, yeah, stripping away a lot of the mysteries and places we look at with the technology.
Yeah, it's funny that you brought up the whole Sims and everything. My oldest daughter just recently told me that I'm going to be a grandma.
Wow, congratulations. How
Thanks.
exciting.
Yeah, I'm not excited yet.
Oh,
I know
you're not?
I know I should be, and so many people are like, "Yay, I'm so happy for you. Like being a grandparent is the greatest thing," but I'm just like, I don't feel like I'm old enough for this yet, I feel like I still have more time, but everybody's got their own process. Their lives happen a certain way for certain reasons. So I know, like, eventually I will get about it and I'll be embracing it, and I can't wait to hold that baby and everything. But right now I'm just like, I'm too young for this. Like, I told my daughter, I'm like, I'm too young and hot for this, and she's like, Mom, you're a gilf. You'll be a gilf. I'm like, okay.
My gosh, that's hilarious. My daughters used to call. That's funny. I've never heard that. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh, I love it.
But I'm excited for her. I don't know. I just was hoping she would do it differently than I. 20s. Once you get, to your 30s or whatever, then start planning a family. But this way you can sow your oats and have a good time. And there's no questions, later on in life when you're ready to settle down and have a family. Yeah. And you don't feel like you're missing out on anything or whatever, midlife crises or whatnot.
That's
but
true.
Everything, I believe, no matter how good, I'm pretty excited for her.
So wait,
not so much for me. She's 1. She'll be 22 in November, and due February 18th.
Wow. Oh my goodness. That's crazy. She's so young. Oh wow. I had my first baby at 23 and that was young, but she's really young. Wow.
Yeah. I had her when I was 20, and 2 weeks after I had her, I turned 21.
You were young too.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Oh wow.
So it works, because they're like, oh, I'll never be like my mom or whatever. You all have said, I won't be like this person or whatever, and then you realize, hey, I'm a lot like this person. I just wish you could have enjoyed this. I think my second daughter is going to listen to me more because she's more like realistic and upfront, and she will tell you how it is in a second. But I think she's the one that actually enjoys her 20s and then, has her kids later. And then I have a whole nother rack of kids, 6 and 8. So I kind of started all over again.
Yeah, right. That's right. You have that kind of split. Wow. Yeah. So you're going to be grandma forever.
Right. Yeah. I have a 7 and 21 and 6 and 8. Only one was planned.
Wow.
That was the 7. You can't plan everything, and everything, like I said, happened. And I even feel like when my mom was killed by a drunk driver, that happened for a reason. Had she not died, I could imagine what my life would be like right now, and I don't think I would like it very much.
How old were you when that happened?
Almost 6.
What? Oh my God.
Yeah,
how did
you?
I don't even know at that age how you would navigate that. How did you navigate that?
It was really weird. For many years, I felt guilty because at her funeral, me and my brother were horsing around, and everybody's all serious, and so I was just like, wow, I was totally irreverent, and I didn't do that. I should have been sad, I should have been doing this or that, but I was just a baby, and I didn't even wrap my head around at that point what was going on. And then that's when a lot of questions, started coming to me, and that's when I started seeking out religion. And that's been like a lifelong process for me, like trying to find answers in other scopes.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been to many different churches. I actually took my 21-year-old to Methodist daycare when she was little, and she got in trouble for she would marry and kiss the boys, and they're like, your daughter keeps marrying and kissing boys in daycare, and we can't have that.
That's hilarious. I love it though. Oh my God.
At least she was marrying them.
That's right. They should have a perfect.
Yeah. What the heck?
Oh, that's funny. Wow.
Yeah, it is funny because, like, I think my mom and my dad was raised LDS, but he wasn't practicing when I was a kid.
Oh, Oh,
And then
interesting. Okay.
my mom was, I believe, Southern Baptist. I remember going to
What a weird
church.
combination.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I
Okay.
never went to church with her, but I went to church with her parents after she died, and my dad
Okay.
like had a total breakdown there. He sent us for a vacation, never sent back for us, and we'd go to
Whoa.
church in the Petty Group, and I believe they were Southern Baptist, but so many different religions. Even when I went into the military, it was like every religion at the tip of. So I was just now. I think everybody's got a little bit of answer. If we all work together, we could have the full. I think everybody's too busy being human, egotistical, you know.
Yeah, that's interesting. What's it? I mean, which my parents, I formally 2 years ago rejected all religion. I feel amazing. Most people are like, Jesus, accepting Jesus is the best thing I did. I'm like, rejecting Jesus is the best thing I ever did. Because I think Joseph Campbell says, now that I don't have to be perfect, I'm good. Like getting out from under that sin just feels amazing, you know?
Yeah, like I'm not a religious person. I haven't been to church in years. And I think church has happened or helped me during certain times in my life. It's kind of like music medicine. I think religion is
I
medicine.
agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with yeah.
So it has helped me out in times when I really needed it, but I feel like I don't have to be going to church to be accepted or to be okay in God's eyes, whoever God may be. I find my church in my children and, you know, in my yard or in the forest or wherever I go.
Exactly. I agree with that. Yeah, I like that.
Awkward silence. Okay, so you were talking about Bigfoot earlier. Where exactly are you right now?
I live about 15 minutes from the Blue Ridge Parkway, at the base of Hanging Rock State Park. So I have 4 acres completely on a quartz bed. I mean, just solid
Holy
quartz.
shnikes. Okay,
Yeah,
and
so
you
it's
said
pretty
these different
magical here.
areas, but I don't know where that is. Are you still in New York or
Out,
Chicago or?
no, I'm north of Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
Yep, it's awesome. I love it so much. It's so magical. There's so many like crypto type of things here. I get great pictures all the time on my property. I mean, basically, it's a habitation site. When we built the house, we tore down some structure. And I told them, I said, sorry, this is the only place on the property I can build. Like I built over a ravine. But I said, I promise you can rebuild your structures as close to the house as you want. And you can, because I know they love to watch. And they did. They're rebuilding their structures. I'm like, okay, you can stop now. Because they're like, I like my trees. So I'm like, okay, can we slow down the building of the structures? It's funny.
Or could you tear down trees like over there and bring them over here instead of tearing down my
Yeah, how about
trees?
the neighbors? Can you go get it from the neighbors? That's actually going to suggest that tomorrow. That's a good idea. Oh, they're funny.
So what do you think about Bigfoot? Like I've heard people say, "Oh, they're interdimensional creatures and they're in league with the aliens," and some people say kind of like our counterpart as far as genetic. What are your thoughts on Bigfoot?
I think they're all of the above. I don't know about the alien connection. I haven't personally gone down that road or done a lot of research in that. Well, definitely I believe that they're aliens, but that's kind of separate. But the ones are very physical, and I also have tons of pictures of interdimensional beings. I wouldn't say just Bigfoot. I'm curious if Patty was a hoax for that. But a lot of people believe in Patty, but I just think if Patty was real, we would have gotten more Patty film, if that makes sense, more clear. I just don't believe the only people that can clearly, take pictures. But I do believe, and like in the first movie, people are like, well, what's Bigfoot to you? I'm like, the stereotypical Bigfoot to me would be like Chewbacca. Because if you guys have watched, which I'm sure most people watch Star Wars. That was it. Yeah, exactly. And I think I've been told that there's a militarized, version of Bigfoot. There's that in Oklahoma, and they do a lot with people when they've come and like torn apart their property when they've real, not interdimensional, solid furry encounter. And why does the military show up? Because that they, made them really smart, really weaponized, mixed them with, human DNA, other DNA, hybrid thing. They decided they were too smart. They killed a lot of them, but they escaped and went out. Most of them, those are supposed. I've talked to a lot of military people, a lot, and I have some interviews on. I don't do a podcast anymore, but my old podcast showed them when he was in the military on bases, weddings around like military bases. So I do think there's a military connection with some of them. I don't think we know, but then people, and you probably know this too. They bring up like, how do we know if this is true? Because history's so screwed up. But the Indians, supposedly the Native American tools that they hunted and killed Bigfoot with, and stories way back when of them kidnapping women and children. And I don't know, there's just all this like legend and myth. So I can only go with what I've experienced. And I can't really go, I wasn't in any of that, so I can't verify all those rumors and legends. I have ignored what we call in the fur out in a lot of interdimensional ones, either fourth or fifth dimension, and it's blue, or I can just see those dimensions, which I know I can see a lot of times those dimensions. So I don't have all the answers, but I definitely 100% believe there are interdimensional cryptos, and there are possibly they're sometimes the same thing, because a lot of times when people will find those footprints, they find like one print, and then they just. So it makes sense, possibly, if those are the ones that are interdimensional, that they're stepping, because they're smart and they like to fool with these hunters that go out with lights and their four-wheelers and their guns and hunt Bigfoot. Like, how fun. Like, I and like fool with those people too, because I just think they're absurd. And I clash with, the rednecks that hunt Bigfoot because of my experience. I can go out and get you 100. I mean, my property is crawling with, I have pictures of nature divas. I have a picture that is clear as day. It's not a Bigfoot, but is as clear as day, a giant chimpanzee. I am telling you, there is not a giant chimpanzee. So some things people say pareidolia, which I don't even believe in, which is a whole nother conversation. But I have pictures that even the hardest skeptic would clearly say, yep, that's something. I don't know what it's doing there, but it looks like a monkey. I mean, like, so clear. And that's what I like to be. So I'm as woo-woo as they come, but I'm also a researcher, and I like to back it up with video, and I like to back things up with pictures.
Yeah, and that's what's so cool about these different apps and different technologies and stuff that they have out, that anybody and everybody can buy these days. And it's not that we need them or we have to have them, because it kind of backs up what you're picking up on anyway. So getting this video and photography and even voice recordings or whatever else you can get, like you said, you went on that walk earlier hollering out like, hey girl, but in their own Sasquatch way.
I love it. Yeah, and I like that you mentioned that, because people are always like, well, how can I learn to see? And I'm like, your phone, if you have a smartphone, no matter what kind it is, if it's a smartphone, it has all those really, like you said, it has sensitive audio recorders. It has cameras that are able to pick up some of the dimensions. The cameras can see through some of the dimensions now. They're making them so sophisticated. So if you point, or even if you randomly probably point, if you knew what you were looking for and you blow up your pictures, you probably are going to get something at this point. We're really pretty advanced.
Yeah, it's really awesome. And not this and stuff. Okay, so since my mom passed, I've been obsessed with the sky. So sunsets, sunrises, so on and so forth. Like, I'm constantly looking up at a lot of UFO sightings and such because of it. And sometimes I even take pictures of it and don't realize I captured it until I zoom in and I'm editing and everything later on. I'm like, holy shit, like, what is this I just got? But it was amazing to me.
So I was cool. You're taking pictures of UFOs? Oh wow.
Yeah, I have to send you some of those. I actually had a video a couple weeks ago. My kids were like, "Hey mom, look, it's a UFO." They actually spotted it before me that time, but yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Awesome. Wow, that's so cool thing people can do. Well, and we're lied to a lot. So, I mean, some of them are satellites, but we go up outside, on a clear night. And if you're not by a city or whatever, and you have a good view, and we're like, oh yeah, those are stars. No, most of them are not stars. Most of them, maybe a few are satellites. They're ships, people. They're ships. And if you look at one of those stars, it'll eventually start to move usually. You can have intelligent interaction with it. You can ask it to move. You can ask it to flash its lights. So I have a lot of interaction with the ships above here. And usually I'll ask certain ones to identify. I'll be like, oh, are you the Syrians? Will you do this? Will you change your lights from red to green? And they will, or whatever. So we're programmed that we're just so hot. Like, these beings are sentient and intelligent. We are supposedly sentient and intelligent. Most beings seek relationship. We need to start having discarnates with entities, with dark forces. I don't care what. I mean, I have relationships with all of them, with, the ships that you see, the crypto. They want relationships. So I think the people that get the best stuff are those that understand what I just said.
Yeah, and it's amazing to me. My mom was the spirit side of the family. My dad never had a paranormal experience until he was with her. He believed in UFOs. So, I don't know, I've always had the thought process of anything's possible. And I believe that they existed until 2012 when I actually saw one. Then I'm like, yep, they're really here. But it's really intriguing to me, and it's kind of funny, how, I don't know, I feel like we're your parents. So they tell you about a lot of stuff they don't want you to know about, and they'll tell you what they want you to know. So, I don't know, some sort of control thing going on or whatnot, but it's very frustrating.
I was so excited about that big reveal that they had. Oh my gosh, that's pitiful. No, I thought they were going to release secret space records. You're going to tell us the truth about super spy labs and abductions and UFOs and big. No. That was nothing.
I was super surprised because people are like, okay, you've been in the military. What do you think they're going to do? And I'm a report that is totally redacted. So everything's blacked out for occasional few words. But instead of doing that, they just basically language that most people understand reading it. They're like, I guess, let me hear me so they can, relevate what they're trying to say to me right now. But I don't know, it was frustrating to me because everybody was getting excited. I didn't, because I knew it was just going to be a bunch of BS again. But I don't know, some people came up with reading it and saying, oh, they said this and this and that and that, but there's some people that really dug deep and got things out of it. They didn't tell us a lot. Sometimes they kind of gave us little ends here and there where you would, they're basically saying they do exist. They could be other countries. We're not sure exactly what they are. I don't know, reverse engineering and all this other stuff they've done. Why do you think we have cell phones? How did we come so far so fast? It's because of reverse engineering. People think that doesn't exist, but I truly do.
The deals that they made too is another reason.
Oh yeah.
Why? I mean, I think they definitely did some deals for some tech. I'm not saying all of it, but some of it.
Yeah, and supposedly that was supposed to run out soon, but I guess they did an extension on our lease there, so they could still per year without any questions asked.
Peachy, lovely. Well, you guys can stop abducting me. I volunteer.
Right? You're like, I'm all good now. Thanks for the experience.
Thanks. No more needle mark. No more bruise mark. Good here.
Right? Well, on that note, sister, we do have to go to our first break. On this break, we have Miss Mocha T, we got Mystique, as well as Mr. Brick Casey. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this musical break.
Yeah, okay. I want it all. Even if you're stepping out of bounds, keep balling. I want it all. Diamonds and cars. Building big yachts, close up the stars. Buying the bars. Own it is ours. I want it all. Big or small. No more of a downfall. I want it all. I want it all. I want it all. I could sign your baseball. Money making it rain fall. On a big mall. Owning the whole block. Driving to the mailbox. Cruising in my yacht, I gotta get up out this box. I want it all. I always knew that I would be rich, don't doubt for a minute. Speaking to existence, hoping and feeling to give away a million. Just be chilling in the tallest building. Say hello to the mission and vision with me. Hello. Watch cars about 150 Rolex diamond luxury sitting next to Movado model cocked before the arrival. Lamborghini with bass high, I can hear it all. Sit back, sun roof up, is the stars. High performance car, super select. exclusive rims, spinning hard. Always wanted to build a park. Yeah, obstacles to enter. A lot more for the kids. Recreation centers. I want it all. Red bricks, cream coated, painted marble fountain as I pass. Walking the stone path, heated pool. Home theater for all of my family. Wanna do it for my city. Can't wait to see the chandeliers hanging from the ceiling. I want it all. Diamonds and cars. Building big yachts, close up the stars. Buying the bars. Own it is ours. I want it all. Big or small. No more of a downfall. I want it all. I want it all. I want it all. I could sign your baseball. Money making it rain fall on a big mall. Owning the whole block. Driving to the mailbox. Cruising in my yacht. I gotta get up out this box. I want it all. I'm inside of a dungeon. Life involves repercussions. You could fist the consequences. Leave me boxed up feeling suction. How could this bad mistake have me thinking ways to escape? Catching the case, wanting it all has been replaced. Look at a cellmate face. I know they can't relate. I know trust in the soul. Heck no, it's to stay safe. Up in the place where my food is cold on my plate. It ain't no breaks. It's a time to concentrate. Watching my back. Got stabbed by too many snakes. Who times dragged against the bars is a rude away. Mind race, body cold, hard to embrace. The situation made me think, why did I miss the hate? And common sense of being solved in so many ways. During the problem thoughts, drop forgot I want it all. Forgot I had a dream to rule it, forgot to remember that all my fans had a bra that I can have it all. I want it all, staring at the walls. Walking down the halls, wait for my collect. Call supposed to be at a concert hall. Instead, I want it all behind bars. Can't reach for a star. It's a fear. I want it all. 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 Diamonds and cars. Diamonds and cars. Building big yards. Building big yards. Close up the stars. Close up the stars. Buying the bars. Buying the bars. On it is on. On it is on. I want it all. I want it all. Big or small, no more of a downfall. I want it all. Diamonds and cars. Building big yachts, close up the stars. Buying the bars. On it is ours. I want it all. I want it all. Big or small, no more of a downfall. I want it all. I want it all. I want it all. I could sign your baseball. Money making it rain fall on a big mall. Owning the whole block. Driving to the mailbox. Cruising in my yacht. I gotta get up out this bodice. I want it all. Mystique. Mystique.
Boca T, let's get it. Future plan is to get you, boy. You all that I think about when I get you. I'ma treat you right, keep you close to my heart. Future plan is to get you, boy. You all that I think about when I get you. I'ma treat you right, keep you close to my heart. Future plan is to get you, boy. You all that I think about when I get you. I'ma treat you right, keep you close to my heart. Future plan is to get you, boy. You all that I think about when I get you. I'ma treat you right, keep you close to my heart. How could you love a man who never been loved? How could you show him something he's so used to lust? I know I'm young, but I know I can be the one. If he open up his eyes and know I'm the one he can trust. Support and good loving is all a nigga need. All that bullshit niggas give you is a test to see if you'll leave. And if you leave, you are not a strong queen. Cause a queen will stay still, pray and be there for her king. Future plan is to get you, boy. You all that I think about when I get you. I'ma treat you right, keep you close to my heart. Future plan is to get you, boy. You all that I think about when I get you. I'ma treat you right, keep you close to my heart. Future plan is to get you, boy. You all that I think about when I get you. I'ma treat you right, keep you close to my heart. Future plan is to get you, boy. You all that I think about when I get you. I'ma treat you right, keep you close to my heart. I love the way he carry himself. I love his swagger. He had me at happily ever after. No fairy tale, this man I really wanna capture. A peek at you, got my heart beating faster. No road runner, but you got my mind racing. Still can call you up and don't know what to say. My friends might say I'm dumb, my friends might say I'm stupid. Then again, why take advice from single women? Future plan is to get you, boy. You all that I think about when I get you. I'ma treat you right, keep you close to my heart. Future plan is to get you, boy. You all that I think about when I get you. I'ma treat you right, keep you close to my heart. Future plan is to get you, boy. You all that I think about when I get you. I'ma treat you right, keep you close to my heart. Future plan is to get you, boy. You all that I think about when I get you, I'ma treat you right, keep you close to my heart. Let's create a kingdom and have a French Wednesday. Build an empire, a dream I desire. Like Candy Crush on the Monday, got butterflies feeling funny. Blunt out the blunt, can't get no higher. Like a fiend who needs sexual healing. Boy, bless me with that business. You're my teacher, you get my undivided attention. Boy, would you come my way and answer a simple question?
I got dreams and ambition, I'm ready and I'm willing, I'm meeting this competition. You don't wanna be my dinner. The whole shift changed when the music bang. Love the look on their face. I got dreams and ambition, I'm ready and willing, I'm meeting this competition. You don't wanna be my dinner. The whole shift changed when the music bang. I just love to see the look on their face, and if I slip, I'ma bounce right back, cause I was born for this. I got dreams and ambition, man. If I slip, I'ma bounce right back, cause I was born for this. I'm ready and willing, even if I slip, I'ma bounce right back, cause I was born for this. I'm meeting this competition. If I slip, I'ma bounce right back, cause I was born for this. You don't wanna be my dinner. I'm about to do this to death, cause I know they watching. Don't understand the talking, tell that dog to quit barking. I'm an entrepreneur, so correct when you talking. Bet I get it back and take a loss to be a boss. Coming fast and I'm switching lanes with it, crisscross. Never messing with you, rapping ratchets, what you really thought. And my jab steady dreaming, chasing missions for the fam. Understand I'm flowing lands from the Milwaukee brand. Thought you knew you can't wear my shoes, not do what I do. It's a mob, I don't pick and choose, just sticking to the rules. Keep my beast above and beneath. They know I'm beauty. What you need, I got what you need. When it come to it, who been grinding all winter, so the summer extra lit. I've been in and out the booth trying to weigh up my greatness. It ain't no time to play with it, and if I slip, I'ma bounce right back, cause I was born for this. I got dreams and ambition, man. If I slip, I'ma bounce right back, cause I was born for this. I'm ready and willing, even if I slip, I'ma bounce right back, cause I was born for this. I'm eating this competition. If I slip, I'ma bounce right back, cause I was born for this. You don't wanna be my dinner.
With great precision, I'm on a mission. Lots of ambition, my transition. The time was ticking, willing and wishing. Just listen, I punch harder than Sonny Liston. They fishing, looking for teeth. It look like Lipton. They tripping. I am the king, whose competition? Collisions. Conclusion is I'm in a position, lifted, transcending beyond their comprehension. Time to hang it up, swaggerific, the lynchman. You know how this goes. Just follow the street codes. We make it look easy, like we putting in cheat codes. Beauty and the beast is in beast mode. Haters on the sidelines, I tell them to keep score. I go crazy on the beat, tell Spaz to keep it low. You know Mystique, close with a toaster, you won't toast.
And if I slip, I'ma bounce right back, cause I was born for this. I got dreams and ambition, man. If I slip, I'ma bounce right back, cause I was born for this. I'm ready and willing, even if I slip, I'ma bounce right back, cause I was born for this. I'm meeting this competition. If I slip, I'ma bounce right back, cause I was born for this. You don't wanna be my dinner.
trying to dial my baby's number. See, it only rings straight to the machine. 617. Now I know something must be wrong with this cell phone, 'cause my baby knows she wouldn't hang up on me. So tell me what's going on. Now see, most of the time phone only ring twice. How you doing, boo? Cool, how's your date? Nice. Now she ain't picking up, plus a text her. Put it to your plane, she's the one to get next to. It's not just the way, it's all day with affection. I'm hoping this detection is poor reception. Straight to the machine, mean it's like clicking my call, get connected quick. I'm saying, hey, Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see there's something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see there's something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Why she ain't picking up, yo? I see the phone rings quite a few times before any answer. And I know she's home, well at least till 3. And I know she's home. Now I don't mean to be any bother operator, but could you just check and connect this call for me? 'Cause I know she's home. Now see, the first time I call, I'm like, maybe she working. And the second time I call, I'm like, little bit hurting. But the third time I call, I'm like, going berserk. And now half a day gone, can't get her on the horn. Usually in the morning, maybe it's something wrong. I mean, she wouldn't take this long to call back. See, we tight like that, she's supposed to be mine. So could you please try it one more time? Hey, Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see there's something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see there's something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Why she ain't picking up, yo? For some reason, it's like she ain't home. Just wanna get my baby on the phone. Now I know that she's there all alone. So can you please hook up my cellular phone? Hey, Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see there's something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see there's something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Why she ain't picking up, yo? Why she ain't picking up, yo?
Oh, no, it's my pleasure. Thank you. I have a really, really old book that I really don't claim about it. I just am too lazy to get it off Amazon. I wrote it like 10 years ago in the height of like The Secret. So it's about like manifestation. I think it's called The Secret to Everything, How to Manifest Something Now. I don't even know what it's called. But my current book is The Secret to Everything, how to heal like Lyme and autoimmune disease, because with our technology, we started, we test thousands of people, and we were seeing Lyme disease and all the autoimmune diseases, Epstein-Barr, come up in even babies. So obviously we're getting it from somewhere. I mean, I don't think everybody's being bitten by ticks. I'm sorry. I'm not that naive to every single person, is getting it. I mean, I do think they're getting it from ticks, but I also think possibly it's being one of the things that's being sprayed in the sky. Muscle aches and fibromyalgia and all these like chronic issues. So anyway, I read that because we were seeing so much of it and people were wanting that. Yes, I can. So what's happening? You can't hear me? Can you hear me? Oh. Well, that's super weird. Oh my gosh. Well, we don't care about anybody. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, you guys. I'm kidding. Can I still not hear you? No. So, yeah, it was. I'll tell you, it's a little bit. So, like 10 years ago, I made it really big in the continent. Like I would have 100 people on my calls. It was crazy. I became like a little guru now. And so it was a really negative experience. Like I had people talking to me. They would send me jewelry. They would send me paintings. And I always say it's a wonderful thing to be worshipped and it's a horrible thing to be worshipped. So that's kind of from that era. And paid kind of a big price for that, kind of had a nervous breakdown. I was way too overwhelmed, like way too busy, and didn't even think I'd ever come back to doing what I did now. So it's kind of like from the darker years of my life where I wasn't being completely authentic. I was being heavily marketed by the scam telesummits, which is like everybody can heal everything. It's, like buy the $97 package, magic pill, you'll be fixed. So I was kind of part of that movement. So that book's from those years. So I'm not too proud of it, if that makes sense. I can hear you. Not a normal night. Oh, yeah, this is interesting. So I really wasn't into Bigfoot. I mean, my brother and I ran the woods in Cleveland, outside of Cleveland, Ohio. And we used to have like, I think you guys know what I mean when I say like parallel tracking. Like we'd be walking and then like we'd stop and then like somebody would stop, or it was just really creepy. But like we were kind of used to that. And I didn't necessarily think it was Bigfoot, I guess. And so the real like experience with Bigfoot came maybe 5 years ago. I was, watching YouTube, and of course you start out watching like how to make a cake, and like Bigfoot videos. So I started watching Bigfoot videos because they were so crazy. Nobody ever showed me anything. Like, so I'd watch like 40 minutes of these stupid videos, and I'm like, "Where's Bigfoot? Where's Bigfoot?" And like you never saw anything. until I stumbled on this one guy. His name's C. Wayne Wilson, and he happens to live like 30 minutes away from me. I'm having dog issues. You're having mic issues. I'm having dog issues. And this guy's like crazy. He's like, do you see this like female big boobs? And do you see like this baby Bigfoot? And I'm like, okay, this guy's on crack. But I do have dimensional C. Okay, the remote skepticism is gonna watch like these videos, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm as crazy as he is because I'm seeing exactly what he's seen. So I call this guy up, I track him down on Facebook, and I'm like, and this is what I used to think. I don't think this anymore, but I used to think cryptos and Bigfoot and dimensionals were only like certain places. You know what I mean? Like you have to go to Washington, the state of Washington, to find Bigfoot, or you have to go to a Native American reservation to find Bigfoot. But so I thought I had to go to his house to see these Bigfoot. So I did go to his house. And when I put with my daughter and we had our video camera on, all these creatures came to the edge of the forest by this field. It's like they knew I was coming. So that was my introduction to, I guess you'd call it Sasquatch, Bigfoot, was through him and at his property. So then I went back home to my property and I realized, oh, well, they're here too. And then I went downtown Winston-Salem and I'm like, oh, they're here too. And then I went to my parents' house and I'm like, oh, they're laying in the sun here too. So they're everywhere. You don't have to go anywhere. They're probably in your guys' yards, backyards, towns, parks. I've never been able to hear you. I used to be in radio. There's like no worse feeling than that panic. Oh, that's weird. Oh, wow. Okay. Do you want to try Skype again? I mean, do you want to call me back on Skype? Do you want to try that again? Oh, okay. Uh, that's weird. Super weird. Oh, it's like I'm chill. I'm never surprised. I mean, weird things happen. Sometimes I think the powers that be don't want my information to get out. So I'm not too shocked, you know. Oh, no, I've never not. Yeah, I can hear you the whole time. Right. That's weird. Like super broken. Yeah, it is a little hard to do a show like with me being the host and the guest. Gosh, I can just hijack this show. I just realized this could be really fun. Hey, you guys, what do you want to talk about? Oh gosh, my very first paranormal experience. Well, it would be when I was like, I'll tell you a fun one. It would be when I was like 3 or 4, and this old man came up in my bedroom, and my brother was a baby, and he stood behind me, and my brother's, sweetly sleeping in his, and the old man says, he says diaper pins. I wonder what would have that into his little leg. And I said, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Such a good idea. That was my first paranormal experience. Ooh, now I can't hear you. Are you talking? I can't hear anything. Now I couldn't hear you if you were talking. Now I can hear you, but I couldn't hear. There was a silence. Oh. And I was stupid enough to do it. Yeah, I got in big trouble. Let's put it that way. Never took ghost advice again. No, I actually, this is really dumb. Yeah, no, I was like 3 or 4. Everybody's like, well, didn't you know what was going to happen? Actually, I'd never like hurt my brother, so I honestly didn't know what was going to happen. It was, you know, I mean, I don't know, I just didn't think it out. I just did kind of what I was, suggested. So definitely not all human discarnates are, innocent for sure. Yeah, big trouble. Like my parents thought I was like a sociopath then. Thank you. I already felt alienated enough. I didn't need any help in alienation. I think you should. Yeah. So you guys, we're going to try to reset completely. And so I guess there'll be some side. So hang with us and we will be back as soon as we can.